and welcome to the first installment of our Industrial Connectivity webinar series, where today we'll spend about 20 minutes focusing on communications infrastructure. My name is Scott Siphon. I'm on the marketing team here at Moxa, and I'll be your moderator today. I do have a quick housekeeping item to mention. We will have a live Q&A session at the very end of the presentation, so I really want to encourage everyone to submit their questions through the Q&A pane at the bottom, and we'll address as many of those as possible at the very end. All right, let me introduce our presenters real quick. All right, first off, we have Todd Desso, who is our Strategic Business Manager. He's been with Moxa for over 13 years, but been in the industry for over 23. He's held several positions in sales, product marketing, and field applications engineering. Presenting alongside Todd, we have Rich Wood. Rich has been at Moxa for 5 years, and he heads up our product marketing division. Rich also brings a lot of experiences with over 25 years of experience in industrial automation, and like Todd, has held several positions in sales, product marketing, and field application engineering. So between them, we have over 50 years of experience, so a lot of knowledge to share with you all today. So with that said, let me hand things over to Todd to get us started. Todd?
Thanks, Scott. Good day, everyone, and welcome, as Scott noted, to the Moxa Industrial Connectivity webinar series. This will be the first of 3 webinars that we will be hosting over the next several weeks. Although these sessions will be short in duration, roughly 20 minutes, they will touch on a number of key points in which we hope to generate additional discussion, which can be more specific to your needs and challenges. In addition, we've lined up a solid group of speakers for this series. I'm confident you will find them both knowledgeable and practical as it relates to their topics. So with that said, Scott noted, we'll be discussing today the industrial communications infrastructure, which translates to protocol gateways, media converters, and serial products. We'll touch on the trends and challenges commonly faced. We will overview Moxa solutions and how we can collaborate with one another. And we will conclude the session, as we hope, with a lot of questions in our Q&A session. So without further ado, I would like to welcome my friend and colleague, Rich Wood. Hey, Rich.
Thanks, Todd. So good to be here with you today. As you mentioned, I just want to start by sharing some of the trend data that we've gathered, then jump into some of the major challenges and wrap up with some of the more popular Moxa solutions that address those challenges. So smart factory or industry 4.0 or other smart initiatives have been a trend for some time now. This 2019 study by Deloitte shows some interesting facts. Starting with 86% of manufacturers believe that these initiatives will be a main driver of their competitiveness in the next 5 years. And 83% believe that it will transform how their products are made. From an overall perspective, the smart initiatives will account for 30% of global factory budgets, and 58% of the companies surveyed expect that share to grow in 2020. So let's look at how that investment compares with other industries. So we talked a little bit about smart factory, and that's by far the largest at this point, with $91 billion expected to be spent in 2020. These numbers are clearly pre-COVID, but they represent just a 13% growth over 2019. Smart grid would be next with a little under 35 billion and a whopping 20.9% compound average growth. Digital oil field is at 26.7 billion with 4.9% growth, and ITS is similar with 25.4 billion and 5.1% growth. So you can see that across a wide range of industries that smart initiatives are on the rise. The one thing that all these smart initiatives have in common, though, is that they seek to collect and utilize data from the physical devices and controllers to better drive efficiencies, improve uptime, and drive new business models. So one of the first challenges that people experience is getting the physical devices and controllers connected to the network so they can deliver the raw data to the business systems that create the business value. So this challenge is the bulk of what we're going to discuss today.
Rich, it's interesting. Across our entire portfolio, our industrial communication offering has arguably the most extensive integration within our customer base. And it's a long-standing integration. Whether we're converting serial to TCP IP in a power quality meter with our imports, copper to fiber for long-distance communication between sites with our media converters, or Modbus RTU to Modbus TCP in a legacy HMI with our EMGates, the applications are quite dynamic and the feedback is positive. We often hear that this group of products is a bit of a Swiss Army knife for our customers.
Absolutely, Todd. We hear that all the time. In fact, Moxa's got hundreds of models of devices for connecting industrial networks. And we like to think that we're customer focused. And what I mean by that is that we routinely engage with our customers to identify any new or emerging needs that they may have for, say, different types of devices or different protocols that they need support for. And we also engage with customers using our products to try and improve their experience with that and find ways to make the products function better, their design atmosphere. And so one of the things that comes out of these discussions is a clear understanding of what their challenges are. And so here are the top 3 challenges that we see pretty much across all industries that are implementing smart initiatives. And the first is just the sheer diversity of the legacy devices that need to be connected, whether that's serial-based like RFID readers or sensors, or whether that's just a variety of different industrial protocols like Modbus or DNP3. In addition, we also see that just converting from different types of media, from copper to fiber, et cetera, is really can be a challenge. Second is configuring the devices. So when making these devices interoperable, many automation and controls engineers have a difficult time configuring and getting these devices set up on their industrial networks. And so this can be time consuming and challenging. The third is troubleshooting. Once you've got these devices up and running and things aren't operating the way that you expect them to, trying to figure out where the problem is and address it and get it back up and running quickly is a big challenge.
Okay, Rich, I'm going to date myself here a little bit. When I first started at Moxa in 2005, there was definitely discussion about serial not being used in 5 to 10 years. Needless to say, that has not been the case. We continue to see solid use, and we do experience year-over-year growth with this. What's driving this?
Yeah, that's so true, Todd. So I've been hearing about the demise of serial for many years now, but in actuality, we continue to see double-digit growth over the last several years in our serial device server line. And in fact, when I've reached out to some of the analysts that we work with in the industry, they're also seeing that serial continues to grow at 6 to 8% globally, and they expect that to continue for the next couple of years. So really, the 2 main reasons that we hear are for that is that frankly, serial is just cost effective. If you've got an existing device out there that works fine, replacing those end devices with Ethernet-based models can be a pretty daunting investment. When you can take a fairly inexpensive device server, connect the working device, and get that up and running on the network, it's a much more cost-effective solution. The second is that the serial is just simpler to deploy and maintain. If you compare the serial technology stack to, say, an Ethernet or IoT technology stack, it's a lot easier to get up and running and manage along the way.
Rich, those are really good points. Customers often come to us with an existing piece of hardware that it works fine, but they're just not able to get that data onto the network.
Yeah, I mean, we see that a lot. And I think the reason for that is a lot of companies are end-of-lifing their serial products. you know, and so we get a lot of customers that just they're calling us because they can't get a replacement for what they've been using, or they've upgraded their software systems and there's no longer driver support. And so one of the reasons why Moxa has become the global leader in serial connectivity is our long-term driver support. So when I say that, what I mean is Moxa owns the technology from the chip level up. And so that allows us to control every aspect of the product, including drivers. And so we're currently guaranteeing that we'll support drivers through 2025. This will be the second time that we've renewed that commitment, and we'll likely renew it again if our customers continue to need serial products after 2025. The second thing that we've seen is a lot of IT quality serial devices out there being used in industrial applications, and they just don't survive the rigors of a typical factory deployment. And so we've built into our products that industrial reliability, such as surge protection for the serial, Ethernet, and power lines to help them survive and thrive in those industrial environments. And third is really ease of use. So we've developed over 30 years of working with customers with serial products, this 30-second quick setup wizard that guides you through the setup and gets you up and running quickly.
Yeah, this was a great overview. I think we're going to see a lot of customers as CapEx starts getting cut with some of the challenges that we're seeing today. The use of an end port, the ability to use existing equipment is certainly networking them with that product will be utilized. So let's switch gears a bit. Let's talk about media converters. Often when people think about media converters, they typically think of Ethernet copper to fiber, but there's a lot more to media converters.
Yeah, before we move on there, Todd, I just want to mention we also, another reason why we're a market leader here is the breadth of our product line, from the basic models to industrial models with and wide temperature range, DIN rail mounting, the typical industrial certifications, including hazardous location, wireless models, rack mount models, and even models with enhanced cybersecurity. But from a media converter standpoint, since we're already talking serial, we do hear that most customers, when they contact us, are looking for or associating that with copper to fiber Ethernet.
Right.
But being in the serial business, we have also media converters that will take RS-232 to 485 or 422. We've got models that will take serial directly from 232, 422, or 485 to fiber. And that's because we see a lot of the serial devices are in remote locations where it's just not feasible to run a copper line back to the main network. Additionally, it gives you some electromagnetic noise resistance by converting to fiber as well. And then finally, the copper to fiber Ethernet products. Again, Moxa's got a full line there. If you look on the right-hand side of this slide here, you can see that we typically will have a basic or entry-level model, regardless of the type that you're looking at. Then we'll step up to an industrial or advanced model that will add things like harsh environment and industrial certifications. And then on the Ethernet to fiber, you can see that we also have a high density rack mount model if you've got a lot of connections that you need to make.
Yeah, and we do have, you posted the links there at the bottom left side there for the selector guide as well as the micro site. I think those are great notes for the folks online to take a look at, and we'll get that information to them too in our follow-up. So let's conclude with our last product group, protocol gateways. So whether we're talking Modbus, Ethernet IP, Profinet, J1939, or DNP3, we've seen a significant spike in usage over the last several years. Can you provide our audience with a quick overview of the EMGate portfolio?
Absolutely, Todd. So I think the biggest question we get is what's the difference between a protocol gateway and a device server? So a device server is basically just going to encapsulate the serial packet inside an Ethernet frame and send it across the network. Whereas a protocol converter is actually going to translate from one industrial protocol to another. So that could be two different Ethernet-based protocols, or it could be a serial to Ethernet type conversion. So in this example here, I've got an Ethernet IP frame coming in, and I want to convert that to Modbus RTU to connect to a power meter. So this is a very common application, but gives you a sense for what the differences are. And as we engage with our customers, you know, we've built in some things that try to make this protocol conversion an easier experience for them. The first, starting with the easy to configure. So we've built in a graphical web-based interface to configure the device. It shows the most common deployments of the device. You just pick the one that's closest to what you're trying to accomplish and then walk through a 60-second configuration wizard and you're up and running. The second is if you've ever tried to troubleshoot, say a Modbus connection, you've got Ethernet on one side and you've got serial on the other, and you're trying to match them up using two different tools. Well, we've combined that into our EMGate Manager tool that allows you to monitor both the Ethernet and the serial traffic in one screen, allows you to very quickly see where things aren't going through and get you up and running quickly. And then in industries like critical power, you know, our EMGate 3600 family of gateways supports active polling. And so what that does is it actually actively polls the device for the status so that it's ready to go when needed. And that increases the performance by up to 10 times. And so much like the other products we've talked about, one of the reasons why Moxa is a global leader in gateways is we've got our broad portfolio with over 70 different types of protocol converters. And in the spirit of making things easy, we've developed this quick selection guide to help you quickly find the model that you're looking for. Just simply go to the column on the left-hand side, find the protocol that you're trying to convert from, go across the top, find the protocol that you're trying to convert to, and where the two meet is the model that you need. So we found this is a very easy way to kind of help people get up and running quickly.
Yeah, this selector guide is great. And again, this is available in PDF format, so we'll send this out to the attendees in our follow-up as well.
Great. All right, so with that, that's the end of our content. I'd just like to wrap things up with a couple of takeaways, then we'll get on to the Q&A. So first, in any smart initiative, connecting end devices is an important and challenging step towards digitization. Second, Moxa's got 30 years of experience and expertise connecting industrial devices. And third, Moxa has a broad selection of serial device servers, media converters, and protocol gateways to help you get your connectivity needs met. So with that, I think I'll turn things back over to Scott and we can dive into the Q&A.
Great, thank you, Rich. Yeah, just quickly before we dive into the questions, I do want to introduce two other people from Moxa that have joined to answer any questions that are more on the technical nature. Josh from our technical support, and Wen Yuan is from our product marketing team. So with that said, let's get started. First question is, can you convert serial to Ethernet wirelessly?
Yeah, I can handle that one. So yes, our N-port W2150 and 2250 series are wirelessly enabled versions of our N-port serial device servers.
Okay, great. Thanks, Rich. The next question is, you mentioned Modbus conversion. Do you have a Profinet to Profibus converter, and can you do Profibus to fiber? Todd, you want to take that one, or?
Yeah, sure. We do the EMGate. It's the 5111, and there is the EMGate 5102 for Profinet to Profibus. And was the second question about Profibus to fiber?
Yes, Profibus to fiber.
Okay, that would be the ICF line, which is the 1280 and 1180 line.
Got it.
And
Okay.
again, for those, we do have that selector guide. And online, if you go to the EMGate section, you can actually select device A and device B, and it'll have a drop-down menu. So you can put in Profibus, Profinet, and it'll give you the exact part number that you're looking for.
Good point, Todd. Thanks. Next question is, what's the maximum number of physical connections you can make with your serial to Ethernet converters? Josh, do you want to take that one, or?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that one. So we do have a wide range of serial to Ethernet converters. We start off from 1 all the way up to 32. So there's actually a 32 port serial to Ethernet converter that we offer.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Josh, for that. I have a couple more. What are you doing regarding MQTT, low RA, and OPC protocols? Do we have an answer for that one?
Let me try to answer. And this is Wen. Thanks for the question. And just as I say, we do put our MQTT, OPC, UA, DA. Also, I think those are protocols, right? LoRa is more like a kind of a low band cellular signal. We do have our R&D team put that in our development roadmap. So I think after that, we can share some of our status. We might not have that's a solid product, which we will officially share all of those technology to you now. But yes, we are, those are under developing. Thank you.
Yeah, I would say if you've got a specific application for that, just reach out to us. And I believe for all of those, we have working prototypes. Is that correct, Wen?
Yes.
Okay, just scanning some of these questions. We will take offline. We'll follow up with everyone that we can offline. I guess the last question for this webinar that I can see is, can you touch base on any plans for SPE, single pair Ethernet switches, if appropriate, for after this discussion? Also interested in future PoE 100 watt and above. So is this an appropriate question to address right now?
Well, I think currently on PoE, we're capping out around 60 watts per port. There are some things that we're looking at in R&D. I'd have to follow up to see how far along they are. We've had some discussions about single pair Ethernet switches. Again, that's something I can reach out individually after the meeting.
Okay, for sure. Thanks, Rich. Yeah, again, we'll follow up with any outstanding questions in the next few days and make sure that you guys are that we're addressing all of those. Let me just do one quick scan. Yeah, I think that's about it. So Todd, let me hand it back over to you to wrap us up.
You bet. Thanks, Scott. So thanks everyone for attending today's webinar. We appreciate the continued opportunity to support you and your efforts. Please don't hesitate to visit www.moxa.com for product technology and application insight, or reach out to your local Moxa sales representative. Please join us next week on May 7th for the Industrial Networking webinar, where we will discuss topics from IT/OT convergence to everyone's favorite, cybersecurity. Until then, stay well.